Good evening, I'm Asha Tomlinson. Tonight, widespread damage after a tornado touches down near Toronto.
Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this in my life!
We're on the ground of a developing story. Also tonight, powerful and urgent messages on the legacy of residential schools.
We have tried to tell them the truth. Who is going to listen?
Survivors in Kamloops open up. Elders in Saskatchewan sit down with an archbishop.
I can hear the shame and the guilt and the pain.
An opposition leader confronts a new cabinet minister.
I cannot accept you saying what you just said.
And the national chief speaks with us. Canada's former top soldier is charged. And Adrian reports from Tokyo.
People have been asked to host a party, but are starting to feel like they're not invited to it.
Last-minute changes at a unique Olympic Games. This is The National. We begin tonight with a developing story in Ontario. A tornado touched down this afternoon in Barrie, just about an hour north of Toronto. Several people were injured, and the damage on the ground is dramatic and devastating. Our Ellen Morrow is there. Ellen, what are you seeing?
Asha, we're on one of the worst affected streets, and just take a look at the damage here. That car in that driveway moved completely out of position, its windows smashed, parts of homes completely destroyed, roofs torn off. Look right here, the insulation of a home wrapped up in this fence, and take a look at that street light there behind me. This all gives you a sense of what the people here had to live through this afternoon.
Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this in my life!
With almost no warning, a neighborhood devastated.
Oh my God, the roof is gone.
A tornado tearing through parts of Barrie, Ontario. Terrified residents left fearing for their lives.
And it's not even 30 seconds after we got into the basement, we could hear the tornado was above us and the house was shaking, the beams were shaking. All I thought was, this is it, maybe. I mean, you can't control whether or not it's going to take the entire house.
So many homes destroyed, the storm's power on full display in its aftermath. Cars tossed around, trees snapped in two.
Their garage is just completely gone and windows smashed in, and just one house kind of looked like it had been torn in half. The siding was completely gone from another house. There was insulation splattered across people's cars. It was crazy.
Dozens of families are now displaced. Police say at least 20 homes here are completely unlivable. Paramedics transported at least 8 people to hospital.
Right now, police are going door to door just to make sure that everybody is accounted for.
The tornado hit at about 2:30 p.m. local time, just minutes after Environment Canada upgraded a tornado watch for the area to a warning.
This one was very sudden, and I know there will be a discussion to come around the alerts and those sorts of things. I can't tell you how incredible it is that nobody has been killed.
Police have now asked residents of the worst affected homes to leave the area. The structural damage here too severe for so many to stay.
It's my house. Look at the backyard. Window is smashed. Look at this house. Look at that house. And I hope everyone is okay.
Residents now only just beginning to comprehend the disaster, their community ravaged, so much cleanup ahead.
And Ellen, right now you're in one of the worst affected areas. You mentioned people have been told to leave. Where are they being taken?
Well, there's a school not too far from here, Asha, serving as a triage site, a shelter site for some of those families. Others are staying with friends and family or in hotels. We've been talking to some of them as they've been leaving here this evening, and they're all just shocked at what they experienced today, but all very grateful that as bad as it is, and you can see as bad as it is here today, that it wasn't worse.
That is so true. Thank you so much, Ellen. Ellen Morrow in Barrie tonight. Let's bring in CBC News meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff now for more insight into this developing story. Johanna, we just heard from Ellen. There were multiple tornado warnings issued today. What were you seeing?
Asha, the setup was ripe across southern Ontario for severe weather this afternoon. Hot, sticky air, a cold front cutting into that. But it wasn't until we saw these supercells. That's rotating thunderstorms that we knew things had the potential to get really dangerous. Those are the kinds of rare setups that we see tornadoes. And I want to show you the cells that ultimately showed us rotation, a classic what we call hook echo. That's a sign that a tornado is lightly on the ground. And then we could actually see some debris in the radar signature itself before we started to see the images coming out from the ground. There were actually two rotating cells. We think it was the one to the north, Asha, that ultimately led to a very narrow but very long and very dangerous tracking tornado.
And of course, so many are wondering, is the danger over, at least for now?
We still have these thunderstorms tracking through eastern Ontario and southern Quebec tonight. So severe thunderstorm watches and warnings have been popping up. Definitely keep your eyes on the skies through the overnight. And we should learn more about the Barrie tornado tomorrow. Damage crews are on the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a very strong tornado, possibly in line with the 1985 Barrie tornado that killed 8 people. That was 330 kilometers per hour. Not out of the question here, Asha.
Wow, the images are so scary. All right, thank you so much, Johanna.
You're welcome.
In 2 provinces today, at 2 separate gatherings, residential school survivors shared their powerful stories. They spoke of the pain, the trauma, and the lasting effects of what they endured at places like the former residential school in Kamloops, BC. Today, a report was released on a search of the grounds conducted there that shows there could be as many as 200 unmarked graves. From it, we learned new, at times disturbing details about that search and what led it. Katie Nicholson shows what's central to all of this, the stories of children who survived and the memory of those who didn't.
There are many children missing who did not reach home.
Stories of children who went to school and never came back unleashed a torrent of grief.
I was ashamed to be a Secwepemc. That's what residential schools taught me.
To Kamloops, Secwepemc delivered its report to its community and the world. How oral histories, a child's tooth and rib bone found years apart, led a ground-penetrating radar team to what they're calling 200 targets of interest.
It took this science to wake the world up to the truth that survivors and their communities have known for years.
Stories of some children being forced to dig graves have long circulated within the community.
Do they want to hear the truth, really? We have tried to tell them the truth. And who are they? Who is going to listen?
These are preliminary findings. Much more work has to be done, including potentially identifying and repatriating remains.
They were children robbed of their families and their childhood. We need to now give them the dignity that they never had.
The First Nation is demanding the release of all school records and that the federal government provide more resources. The Assembly of First Nations wants even more.
This is a crime scene, and crimes have to be investigated. The criminals must be held to account.
To date, First Nations communities in BC and Saskatchewan have reported finding more than 1,300 unmarked graves in residential schools. This school was the first.
That was a spark and an awakening for everybody.
Bruce Allen's father went here. He never spoke about it before he died.
People who come here say they can see children looking out the windows, right? So there is still those spirits that are still here that still need to be released. And so I think, it's beginning. We're grieving, and I think the rest of Canada is grieving too.
Katie, you're outside that school tonight. It is a place that holds so much history, but it's also a very big part of the community, right?
Yeah, it still is. I just want to point out to you, Bruce Allen sort of walked us through last night. Right over there, that's the boys' dormitory. That's where his father would have stayed. And then if we swing over to the other side, you'll see That's where the girls' dormitory was, and in the middle is a central building. It's largely being used right now for administrative purposes. But what you don't see all around the community are all the tents that are up and the community buildings that are currently being used to help fire evacuees. So essentially on this very traumatic day for this community, they are helping so many other communities in dire need. Asha?
Katie, thank you. As you saw there, Assembly of First Nations National Chief Roseanne Archibald was at that event today. A little later, we'll talk to her about what she wants to see happen next. Residential school survivors were also telling their stories today on a Saskatchewan First Nation to one person in particular, Jason Warwick, with their message to Regina's Archbishop.
First Nations people don't mean anything, really.
In a Saskatchewan school gymnasium, residential school survivors and their families told their stories to Archbishop Don Bolin.
I went to all those types of schools. They put that fear of God in me.
One man described what happened when he asked his relatives about their experiences.
I could hear the shame and the guilt and the pain. And I had to stop because it was affecting me as well.
Archbishop Bolin was asked to come hear these stories from those forced to attend St. Philip's Residential School, run by the Catholic Church.
We know that the schools, took you away from your families. We know that you're on a long healing journey. We want to walk with you to help in any way we can.
After the meeting, some of the survivors went back to the site of the former school and cemetery on the nearby Kisakus First Nation.
Every time you drive down the highway, something reminds you of that, what you went through. Like when I drive through to St. Philip's that way, I just look here and it brings tears to my eyes.
One elder called Bolin's visit a first step, but said there are many more to take.
We're living on borrowed time, and we're going to make it happen soon. Yeah, we're going to be meeting with the churches next week, and we're going to get them involved in this, and we're going to be demanding action from them.
Survivors issued a list of demands for Bolin to take to his fellow bishops and to the Vatican. Pay the full $25 million promised to survivors back in 2005, release all documents of residential schools, and have the Pope come to Canada to apologize. Jason Warwick, CBC News, Kisakus First Nation.
And CBC has a new Indigenous-led team investigating the impacts and harms caused by residential schools. If you have information, tips, or something you want to share, email us. Where are they at cbc.ca. An extraordinary exchange on the steps of the Manitoba legislature today. First, the province's brand new Indigenous reconciliation minister defended some aspects of the residential school system. Then, suddenly, he was confronted by the leader of the opposition. Cameron McIntosh has the story.
Just sworn in, barely an hour on the job. The new minister in Manitoba's newly restyled Indigenous reconciliation portfolio, seemingly not sure what he's reconciling.
They thought they were doing the right thing.
Alan Lajamodiere asked multiple times about the intent of Indian residential schools.
The residential school system was designed to take Indigenous children and give them the skills and abilities they would need.
Then, opposition leader Wab Kinew, son of a residential school survivor, interrupts.
I cannot accept you saying what you just said about residential schools. It was the expressed intent of residential schools to kill the Indian in the child.
That's what Prime Minister Stephen Harper apologized for in 2008.
Indeed, some sought, as was infamously said, to kill the Indian in the child.
Manitoba Premier Brian Pallister served in that government. Last week, speaking to the toppling of a statue of Queen Victoria, he appeared to dismiss colonialism.
The people who came here to this country before it was a country and since didn't come here to destroy anything.
The Indigenous community took that as a denial of the intent of residential schools. 2 days later, his Indigenous Relations Minister quit.
Read my comments with an open mind.
Pallister, standing by his comments, doesn't deny he has a reputation for being a top-down leader.
I'm probably far less brusque and far more consultative than I was when I started in this job.
Either way, Indigenous leaders say he's shown little interest in working with them. A tough road for a new minister
We'll give you a chance, but you can't be out here defending residential schools if you want to work with Indigenous communities.
Lajimodiar tweeted an apology. The Manitoba PC caucus tweeted Canoe bullied him. They took that down. Quite the first day. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
An Ontario mosque has been vandalized, resulting in thousands of dollars in damage. The motive isn't known, but local police have asked for help from its hate crime unit. And the fear in the Muslim community is that it's not an isolated incident. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson reports.
This door was open. I heard a bunch of banging.
Fatir Ahmed is the imam of the Baitul Karim Mosque, a place that's supposed to be for prayers and contemplation. But when he opened the doors of his mosque yesterday evening, what he saw were the remnants of acts of anger and destruction.
The TV, as you can see over there, that was taken.
A TV and some electronics were stolen, but mostly the property was vandalized. This violent act, what does this say to you?
It shows that there's hatred, definitely, in someone's, and there's frustration. You can clearly see the frustration. They threw a bunch of stuff at the back, blocking the
Waterloo Regional Police say they're still investigating what motivated this act of vandalism, but their hate crimes unit is involved.
At this point in time, I do not have any suspect information, but again, we are actively investigating. We do have several units involved in this, and we have deployed significant resources towards this investigation.
I just wanted to offer our heartfelt feelings that we are here to do anything possible in order to help prevent any acts in the future.
But many Canadian Muslims aren't feeling reassured. They fear attacks against them are on the rise. Just earlier this week, a mother and daughter in Hamilton were verbally attacked in the street. And last month, a hit and run fueled by hate killed 4 members of the same family in London, Ontario.
So we need to do our part in helping to get rid of the misinformation that's out there. The part that we can use help from politicians or other Canadians is to help us with that dialogue and not demonizing a certain community.
For now, the Cambridge Mosque has tightened its security and police are starting more frequent patrols around the area. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Cambridge, Ontario.
A big development tonight in the story of misconduct at the top of Canada's military. The former top soldier, Jonathan Vance, now faces a criminal charge. Murray Brewster takes us through it.
It was a storied military career. Decorated combat commander in Afghanistan, longest-serving chief of the defense staff in modern history. Now, another bit of history. Retired General Jonathan Vance has become the first senior officer charged in relation to the military misconduct crisis. In court documents, military police allege Vance did willfully attempt to obstruct the course of justice in a judicial proceeding. And it stems back to this.
Did General Vance ever instruct you to lie about your relationship?
Yes, it's recorded, and the CFNIS has all of the recordings of him directing me what to say, what not to say, how to say it, what to exclude.
Last winter, military police were investigating allegations that General Vance had an inappropriate relationship with Major Brennan. No charges were filed today over those claims of sexual misconduct. A defense expert said there was an important message for skeptics of military justice.
There is that idea now that even a chief of the defense staff needs to be subject to the same punishment, to the same sanctions as anyone else in the Canadian Armed Forces.
In making its case, the Crown will have to prove Major Brennan was somehow threatened.
Simply asking somebody to lie is not necessarily obstruction of justice.
General Vance has not told his side of the story. CBC News reached out to him tonight for comment. He did not respond. He'll be in court September 17th. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
An overnight boating accident in Ontario's cottage country has left 2 people dead. The OPP say 2 boats crashed just off the dock of a marina in Muskoka.
We looked out, heard it was a boat crash, and we saw the one boat capsize. And we also have family friends that were told to shoot out there with boats and to go look.
6 people were on board the boats. 4 of them were rescued from the water, but a 13-year-old girl from Toronto was pronounced dead at the scene. Divers recovered the body of a 51-year-old woman this afternoon. The cause of the crash is under investigation. More than 300 wildfires continue to burn in British Columbia today, putting nearly 3,000 properties under an evacuation order. The Brenda Creek wildfire west of Kelowna is one of the latest to show explosive growth, forcing the evacuation of more than 40 homes overnight. The province has already seen nearly 1,100 fires, 5 times the number typically seen by this time of the year.
We all experienced the heat wave of a couple weeks ago, followed by a series of thunderstorms that came through the province, resulting in over 200,000 lightning strikes. So essentially, our fire season has been pushed forward approximately a month.
BC Wildfire Services says it's working with both local and international partners to find people and supplies to fight this extended wildfire season. On the COVID front tonight, a progress update on vaccinations. According to the CBC News vaccine tracker, among the eligible population 12 and older, 79% have had 1 dose, while more than 53% are fully vaccinated. Measures meant to control COVID also cut the spread of other viruses like colds and the flu. But with masks coming off, doctors are warning of a surge affecting all ages, with children hit especially hard. Christine Birak explains.
For over a year, public health measures dramatically wiped out most common colds, the flu, and other respiratory viruses. But some are back and sending kids to hospitals.
But now we're seeing a surge of respiratory infections. So it looks like it would be October, November. So common respiratory infections, which unfortunately in kids can be really severe.
A group of viruses that cause different types of respiratory infections, including croup in children, is rising fast. Symptoms can include fever, runny nose, and cough. Most kids recover on their own, but doctors are also worried about another virus.
The most dangerous one, and the one we really don't want to see much of, is called RSV. And it can be so severe that it brings infants and usually toddlers into the intensive care unit, sometimes on ventilators.
American health officials recently issued an alert warning doctors about increased RSV activity. RSV is the most common cause of bronchiolitis and pneumonia in infants.
So what's happened to us is we had no exposure.
Over a year, kids usually come in contact with several viruses, which allow their immune system to develop antibodies. No exposure means no antibodies, but people are now mingling again.
So for children under 5, the next few months are likely to be associated with a lot of first-time viral infections,
including the flu. Some fear this season could be one of the worst for people of all ages. Britain now plans to offer flu vaccines to children as young as 2.
They're not a huge cause for alarm for most kids. But that being said,
this doctor's advice, get the flu shot, wear a mask, and stay home when you or your child is sick.
Maybe we're all willing to sacrifice that in terms of not exposing each other when we do have respiratory symptoms. And we could probably make a lot of headway against these viruses.
Because we've learned simple measures can save lives. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
1 week out from the Olympic opening ceremony, and the anxiety in Tokyo is ramping up.
The risk for the Japanese people is 0.
Up next, the National is there. Adrian shows us how these games are anything but normal. Plus, emotional testimonies from residential school survivors.
These are crimes against humanity.
My conversation with the new chief of the Assembly of First Nations. And later, devastation in parts of Europe.
In a warmer world, extreme events are on the rise.
A warning from climate scientists about what's to come. We're back in 2. Welcome back. Canada's Vasek Pospisil said today he won't compete at the Tokyo Olympics. The tennis player cited an aggravated right shoulder as one of the reasons for his decision. He joins fellow Canadians Bianca Andreescu, Denis Shapovalov, and Milos Raonic, who are also taking a pass on these games. The opening ceremony is just a week away, but in Tokyo, what's growing isn't excitement, but lockdown measures. And not just for athletes, but for officials, the world's media, and especially the Japanese people. Adrienne Arsenault is part of a small CBC News team in Tokyo. She'll be reporting and hosting from there throughout the games. Good morning, Adrienne. I gather restrictions that were already tight are now getting tighter?
Yeah, hey there, Asha. It's pretty striking, isn't it, to think that this could get even more locked down. But the city, Tokyo, is in its 4th state of emergency. It just recorded more daily cases than at any other day in the last 6 months, roughly 1,300. And so now, as the preparations are ramping up, so is the anxiety. And some of the new restrictions just announced are very likely going to take a lot of the heart out of this whole experience. So, for example, those iconic images you've surely seen over years of Olympics of athletes having medals placed around their necks won't happen this time. Instead, they will be handed their medals on a tray. They will have to put them around their own necks, presumably. And this on top of the reality that athletes are being kept in such a tight bubble to ensure they don't mix with those from other countries or the host country. Now, Thomas Bach, the IOC president, made that announcement about the medals and then offered what he likely thought were very reassuring words. Have a listen.
So the risk for the other residents of the Olympic Village and the risk for the Japanese people is zero.
So that's a pretty bold claim, but it's really being doubted here. Really, only 30% of the Japanese population has had a single dose, and so people are saying that they feel vulnerable, but also stuck, that they know these games are going ahead like it or not, and most don't like it, but that also they see the joy being sucked out of the experience. So not only are most spectators banned, for example, but now organizers say they're closing public access to the cauldron, that place where in past games you would go and take lots of pictures. The fan zone is closed, the fan activity center is closed. So now, beyond watching on camera, there's not really much of an experience for the Japanese public to have with these games, which feels especially cruel given how enthusiastically they bid for them and how big the sports fans in this nation are.
Given all of that, how does it work with the media, people like you and the rest of our team? What can and can't you do?
Well, for the first 14 days, there's not really a lot we can do. Anyone who comes here has to be tested at least twice before they get on the plane, and then it happens again as soon as you land. For our team here with CBC, we're tested every single day, so that's what this big bag of treats is all about. These are the vials for the spit tests. There are a lot more rules. No public transportation, no restaurants, no stores. You're restricted in who you can speak with on the street. You can only go to pre-approved locations like this one. You can't get out of the vehicle between your hotel and this location. And so we are asked to load what are really surveillance apps on phones with the commitment that the GPS is always on and you have to always keep your phone on. So it is incredibly strict, but anyone who comes here to either work or compete understands that they are guests in this country and that you're wandering into a Japan where people have been asked to host a party but are starting to feel like they're not invited to it. Asha?
All right, thanks so much, Adrienne. Adrienne will be hosting the National from Tokyo next week and will have special coverage throughout the games. So mark your calendars. The games officially begin on Friday, July 23rd with the opening ceremony. Adrienne will be hosting alongside Olympic primetime host Scott Russell and special guest Mark Sakamoto. That starts at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on CBC TV, CBC News Network, and CBC Gem. When we come back, my conversation with the chief of the Assembly of First Nations about today's findings in Kamloops and what's next.
It has given us undisputable truth that genocide has happened.
Her message to Canadians about reconciliation. And later, what's fueling the recent violence in South Africa? We'll be right back. Welcome back. Earlier, you heard from survivors of the Kamloops residential school following the release of a report showing there could be as many as 200 unmarked graves at the site. We'd like you to hear some more of what the survivors had to say today. And a warning, some of what you may hear may be triggering.
For me, it is very hard to talk about it. I didn't even talk about the abuse in residential schools to my children.
I was taken from a loving home that only knew humor, laughter, love, and honor. Put into a cold, stark environment that didn't honor or respect who we were.
I cried myself to sleep. I was wondering when my mother would come to pick me up. You know, when was my mom and dad going to show up and rescue me, take me away from this cold place?
I was ashamed to be a Squapnkoy. That's what residential schools taught me, to be ashamed of my identity.
And when I got there at a young age, I couldn't understand anyone. The whole school sounded like a beehive. The buzzing and the noise, I just looked from face to face. I couldn't understand anything.
I can't speak my language today because of what I experienced across that way. I've tried. I've gotten so many beatings for speaking my language that I'm sure that there's a subconscious block that just didn't allow me to do it.
And after hearing about those children being found along the orchards and other places, I often wondered what would have happened if I hadn't been able to say my night prayers in my language. Would my life have been snuffed out because I wasn't Catholic?
When I was going through the claim, the federal lawyer kept asking, if there was so much abuse, why did you take it? And I replied to her, what 6-year-old child could say no?
The residential schools were specifically built to take the Indian out of us, to take away our language, culture, and traditions, and to make us some astute. But it did not work.
In the room, as those stories and memories were being shared today, was Assembly of First Nations National Chief Roseanne Archibald. She joins me now from Kamloops. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You know, these stories are not new, but being there in that moment, what was running through your mind when you heard these raw and emotional accounts?
Well, Asha, these are really relived trauma for the survivors that are in the room. And it's really heart-wrenching to have them talk about what they experienced there. And I was thinking in that moment that here we are in Kamloops, and this is sacred land. This is their traditional territory, and it was here that this whole process started with the initial discovery of the 215 children at the former Kamloops Indian Residential School, which I don't like to call a school. I think I've talked, other reporters have said that as well. These were institutions of assimilation and genocide. That's what they were. And we've always known as First Nations people, and it was a part of the TRC hearings. Survivors talked about it. They were not believed, And now we have the proof. This ground penetrating radar has given us evidence. It has given us undisputable truth that genocide has happened and that our most vulnerable, our little ones, our little innocent children were the subject of that. It's really a difficult space to hold. And one of the first things I did before I started speaking was I talked about breathing, everybody, putting their hands over their hearts and breathing into that heart space, because we have to have extraordinary love and care as we move through this for survivors, for intergenerational trauma survivors, and for all Canadians who are really feeling all of these feelings with us and going through this with us. We have many allies across Canada, and I'm really grateful for them standing shoulder to shoulder with us as we walk through this.
Yeah, allyship, so important here. And we did hear some stunning details. I mean, children were made to dig graves in the apple orchard. A child's bone was found on the site. What kind of impact will these details make, you think, moving forward?
Well, these are crime scenes. Chief Cadmus Delorme talked about that in Cowassus, and these are crimes against humanity. These are crimes against children. And those crimes have to be further investigated. And those crimes have to be punished. The people responsible have to be held accountable. And a part of that is the federal government's colonial policies that led to the establishment of these institutions. And that is the difficulty, because we also need the federal government to be our partners, to be our willing partners, to work with us, to stand with us, to move through this. But the conflict of interest is real with the federal government. And so it's a multi-layered, complicated process. But as First Nations, we're committed to being relentless and walking forward and making sure that there is a healing path, not only for survivors and intergenerational trauma survivors, but for all Canadians. It's absolutely essential that we're all committed to healing.
Appreciate speaking with you, Chief Archibald. Take care.
Thank you very much, Asha. Take care.
Still ahead, the view from South Africa as unrest continues to pour into the streets.
Apartheid ended. Most people thought that we were going to see a better time.
The government's response to the chaos on the ground. Plus, assessing the tragedy in Germany and Belgium, how severe flooding created this much damage. Stay with us. South Africa has started to deploy thousands of troops, hoping to stabilize a country in turmoil. Dozens have died after days of arson and looting in gutted neighborhoods. Sasha Petrusik looks at what's fueling South Africa's worst violence in years.
As looters and flames sweep through stores and warehouses across South Africa, another drama is unfolding in downtown Durban. A 2-year-old baby dangling from an apartment building window, held, then dropped by her mother, who's trying to rescue the girl from fires set by a mob below. They kept screaming, "Throw her, we'll save her," says the mother. I was in shock, but people did catch her. She's fine. In a field near Johannesburg, another family mourns a 15-year-old boy. One of more than 100 people who've died in the worst violence South Africa has seen since the end of apartheid. Today, the government deployed 25,000 troops to help a police force that's been hopelessly outnumbered in the chaos. It was sparked last week by the jailing of former South African President Jacob Zuma, and then fueled by frustration over COVID lockdowns and decades of economic stagnation.
Most people thought that we were going to see a better time, more inclusion, more jobs. And nearly 30 years after the end of apartheid, the vast majority of South Africans are still suffering.
Like car dealer Oke Ochendu, his future burnt to ashes.
I feel like committing suicide because my livelihood is being taken away from me.
Others are having second thoughts.
You put back in the trailer.
A woman with a baby on her back returns the TV she stole the day before. Other looters also repent. Yes, I stole, says Selo Marakai, but then I realized shops will close and we will be left with nothing. How will South Africa survive? Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Toronto.
Up next, a look at the catastrophic flooding across parts of Western Europe.
In a warmer world, extreme events are on the rise.
The aftermath of tragedy and a warning that this kind of severe weather could become the new normal.
Give me a beat.
Think you can make your family proud?
Yes.
Think you have all the answers?
You don't like to lose?
Casting is now open for Family Feud Canada. Submit your audition video from home today.
This free app brings you the news you want, local and international. Easy to use and easy to set the way you like. Get the free CBC News app today.
I'm Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, the Kamloops Secwepemc Nation have released new details on unmarked graves at a former Kamloops residential school. We discuss what comes next.
Welcome back. At least 60 people are dead and dozens of others are missing after flooding across much of Western Europe. Salima Shivji shows us scenes of devastation, another remnant of climate change.
The torrential rains tore through fast with no warning, leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. Dozens of lives lost, with many more still missing, homes left destroyed. The water so fierce it ripped apart roads and left cars smashed beyond recognition. Some 3 times the amount of rain this part of Germany gets in a whole month fell in less than 24 hours. Small rivers were so swollen that the waters carried entire homes away. Catastrophic damage, this man says. It's all gone, it's scary. Our community's crushed, he says, and so many houses abandoned. Many stranded by the rising waters had to be rescued from their rooftops and carted to safety. For those who fled last night, the agony of returning to what's left is too much. There's so much to rebuild. It's the worst flooding for the area in memory. I've never in my life seen this. I didn't think it possible, she says. Not just possible, but today's reality because of climate change, says one of the politicians vying to become Germany's next chancellor, Armin Laschet. Current Chancellor Angela Merkel, a world away in D.C. to meet with U.S. leaders, called it catastrophic and a shocking tragedy as she promised federal help to rebuild when the immediate danger passes. Many climate scientists say get used to more devastation like this as global temperatures rise.
Because a warmer atmosphere can hold more water, 7% more water per 1 degree warming. In a warmer world, extreme events are on the rise.
But for now, the worry here is what's to come in the short term, with more rain in the forecast. Salima Shivji, CBC News, London.
Next, imagine running 2.5 marathons every day for 9 days straight. This runner did just that, smashing a record in the meantime. Our moment is next.
The CBC Sports app. Find coverage of the comebacks and analysis of the nail-biters. Get insight on their journey and go deep on going deep. Watch, read, listen on the road to Tokyo on the CBC Sports app.
It was one trail, 900 kilometers, and 9 days, and through it all, this runner kept on going. Kip Arledge ran from Tobermory, Ontario, all the way to Niagara Falls. Not only did Kip run for 9 days, basically running over 2 marathons each day, but he crushed the previous Bruce Trail record. Tonight, he's our moment.
I finished setting the fastest known time on the Bruce Trail. So that's the 900-kilometer trail that runs from Tobermory to Niagara. So my time for the trail was 9 days, 3 hours, and 27 minutes. So I took approximately 13 and a half hours off the record. Running might be overselling it. It was a mixture of running and hiking. And I had to pull a lot of favors with my friends to waste all their vacation days to help me out. They would take turns pacing or running in front of me, and then driving a van full of all of our gear. But I didn't do a whole lot of sleeping. I would just be running, or at that point, mostly hiking along, and just be overwhelmingly tired. I would flop over like a beached whale and take my 10 minutes of glorious rest and then scrape myself off the ground and get back at it. It became easier to push the last little bit less daunting when you have 2 days to go instead of 7 or 8. I really tried to stay in the moment, but I won't be running anytime soon.
I'm tired just watching that. He didn't listen to music or an audiobook. He wanted to stay in the moment. Friends and even some strangers would run beside him, and he made a whole bunch of new friends. But afterwards, he couldn't walk for days, as you can see. He's taking all of this month off from running to give his body a break. Kip, you deserve it. That is the National for July 15th. I'm Asha Tomlinson. Good night.